Okay, so we're live. Let's start with some music. Welcome, everyone, to a new episode of our leadership series. Today, I have with me a beautiful woman, an elegant lady, an incredible woman, Valencia Bennett. I'm so honored to have you
Oh,
connected
thank
all the
you.
way from Texas. Welcome, my dear.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited for this conversation today.
Me too. And you are the queen of simple. And I think there is nothing better to just summarize everything about you. So tell us
Yeah.
what brought you to become such a reference in the word of, you know,
Queen Sim.
turning, yeah, consistency
Yeah.
in making money and all of that. Tell us.
Absolutely. So, honestly, like I mentioned, the Queen of Simple came to me from my clients. I didn't realize I had that superpower until everyone started telling me. Because it was like
Lovely.
people would be stuck for years. And sometimes I've had people that were stuck for like 10 years. And they
Wow.
would have a 30-minute conversation with me. They'd be like, Valencia, you just simplified all of the thoughts I just had in like 30 minutes. And so I just became the queen of simple. And so I am a business coach and wealth advisor for coaches. I do work directly with coaches and I help them simplify their systems and strategies so it's easy for them to achieve those consistent 10K plus months.
Mhm.
And even beyond that, I like to help people build wealth with their coaching business. So leveraging their coaching businesses, the income that they generate to build wealth. Because my husband and I, we do own four other businesses. And
Wow.
in that, over time, we have built wealth through stock market investing, real estate investing. And so I love to share those nuggets and tips with my audience and my clients when I get the opportunity to do so.
You are an impressive woman. And I
Oh, thank you.
love the way you talk about these incredible things with
Yeah.
such a simplicity, as it is just like an easy ride.
Mm, it can
Is,
be.
is it really, has it always been such an easy ride?
Honestly, I will say no. I wish I could be like it's all rainbows and
Mm.
roses and sunshine, but no. I was in healthcare. I was a business director in healthcare for 10 plus years. Unfortunately, I did experience burnout.
Oh,
And it got to the point where I decided it was time for me to just fully leap into entrepreneurship.
mm,
At the time, my husband and I, we were investing heavily in the stock market. We did have some of our businesses operational, but it was at a point where I was like, something's got to give. Like
yeah, you
we,
can't
this,
take that.
it's yeah. And my husband, he used to joke. He was like, "Did I marry a surgeon? Because the hours I used to work were insane."
Really? Really?
Like, well, I'm not getting paid like a surgeon, so no, you did not marry. I said,
You don't, there is no mistake here. It's clear.
yes, it's
The
clear. I'll show
numbers
you the
doesn't
paycheck.
show that. Yes.
Nope, the numbers don't show that. I wish they did, but they did not. And so it really did bring me to that
The
point.
long hours, it's because of the load of work or because
Yeah.
you really want to be on top of things all the time?
It was so surprisingly, the last organization I worked for, they really had this mentality that if one of my employees were out, I needed to cover for them.
Oh,
Because they
okay.
wanted to be very lean in operations. So if I had any employees out, I didn't have anyone to really cover them. So I had to be that person. So I
So you
would
do
literally
double job.
do, yeah, I would during the day, I would do their job. And then like 7 o'clock, I would go upstairs into my office and do about an hour or two of my work.
Mm.
So it just became ridiculous. And there were some mornings I would have to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning to cover a shift for an employee, and then wouldn't make it home until like 8 at night.
Oh
So
my
it
God,
was a lot.
Valencia, we would have no idea what the woman goes through
Yeah,
if you don't
it's a
share
lot.
things like that.
It's a lot.
It
Yeah.
is a lot.
It was a crazy expectation. Like, then it was like, I'm proving myself. I wanna show my worth that I can
Yes.
do
And you
this.
do it. You'll wake
And
up
I
and you do
wanted
the thing.
yeah, you do it.
Yeah.
And, you get to the point where it becomes almost second nature. Like, you don't realize how bad it is.
Mm.
I tell people my form of burnout was just me existing, and I would just get up and do the routine, but I had like it was nothing fulfilling happening. I was missing all of my family functions and events.
Oh.
Um, it
Mm.
was terrible. Like my husband and I was eating takeout like every day because I'm like, dude, I can't. I don't have the
The
capacity to
time
cook.
to cook or
Yeah,
to
I don't
do
have the
anything.
time.
And you
So
don't
yeah,
even remember what to do when you go into the
no.
kitchen. You're like, so yeah, I know
I
that
know
feeling.
I had to get my cooking skills back because there was for a while that I was not cooking.
It's like, I don't know what to
Um,
do.
I was like, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know. So yeah, it got to the point where I really had to just finally got to a point where I walk away.
Mm.
Um, and I always love to share that story because I think people never know when their time is to go. And
That's
I'll be
so
honest
true.
with you, I prayed for years. I was
Mm.
like, Lord, give me clarity. Help me figure out when it's time for me to go. And I was applying to I would go on job search websites and there was nothing that was fulfilling to me.
Mm.
I would just be like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
Mm.
Um, and so it was the height of the pandemic. We all experienced that globally.
COVID.
And I got to work from home for the first time. And no lie, I tell people all the time, like this small, still voice came to me and it said, December 31st, 2020 is your last day.
That's it. You just
That was
had
it.
whispered that
It
you
was a whisper. Like December 31st, 2020 is your last day.
and you listened to the
And
voice.
I listened. I'm telling you, I did not buck at that voice. I did not contest that voice. I was like, okay. So literally that day I tell my husband, I say, hey, December 31st, 2020, my last day. I'm not going to be at this job anymore. I'm just letting you know. And he was like, are you sure? Because he knows I was very risk averse.
Mm.
He know I like to have a plan. I like to have something backed up. But at the same
But
time, we had
but
our
COVID didn't
businesses.
stop your job, right? Because you continue working on your job if you wanted to, right?
Yeah. So
So it was something
after
else. It was like,
yeah,
something else. I love that.
yeah. So
You
after
channeled
December,
something out of the universe. Yeah.
it was amazing.
Mm.
I say the Holy Spirit or God spoke to me in that
Yes.
moment and was like, okay, you've been obedient, you've listened, you've served,
Mm.
and now it's time for you to move on into the next chapter of your life.
Mm.
And that's what led me down a path to be where I am today.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that. That's so beautiful. It's so
Thank you.
beautiful and so bold, right? Because
Yeah.
we, a lot of people listen to voices, but they shut them off. Like, shh, 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 let me focus on
Yeah.
the work I do. Shh, don't listen.
Yeah. Yeah. They
Listen.
don't listen,
We don't
truly.
listen. We don't listen. We don't listen. If we were to listen to our inner GPS, I think we can be really far away in
Yeah.
our careers. And so
Yeah.
then you started from nothing because you're gone, you left the job.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, what do I do now?
So one piece I love to tell people because it was a transition phase, right? So I did create an agreement with my employer. I said, hey, I'll stay on to train the next director.
Mm,
And so that was great because I had like 5 months of still getting paid
mm,
while I was building my business.
mm,
And that was a nice transition period. There was a lot I learned. I'll be honest with you, starting. So, my husband and I, before that, we had a construction business, we had a transportation
mm.
business, we
Okay.
had real estate investments. Me starting a coaching business was the most difficult business I started out of all of them.
Mm. Really? How interesting. We wouldn't think that way.
Everybody thought it was easy. The upfront investment was minimal, right? Because it's
Yeah,
just showing up, and in the other businesses, we had to make big investments to start
exactly.
those businesses. But
Mhm.
that was the hardest part of those businesses is having the financial capital to make those investments, which we were fine. We're like, okay, we can do this.
Yeah, because that's traditional. That's easy. Like
Yeah,
everybody
it's
can do that.
easy.
You got the money,
Yeah,
you'll do it. Yeah.
yeah. You want to buy a house, you work with a realtor, you find a house, you buy it, you flip, you fix it,
And that's it. You fix
or
it, you sell it,
yeah,
you rent it, whatever. You know how to do it.
whatever. You know what to
It's
do.
clear.
It's clear.
Traditionally, yes.
Coaching business was different. I was
Yeah.
like, what in the world did I just sign up for? Because I was a very private person. I
Uh-huh.
did not like to be on social media.
Oh,
And so I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. And that's where I ended up on LinkedIn. I started to figure things out. And I'm like,
mhm.
okay. But it was a lot. I realized that I had to become the product in a
Yes.
sense, right?
You have to
Initially,
become
right?
the brand, the
The brand,
product, the marketer that sells the product, the CEO that
everything,
manages it all. Yes.
everything. I was like,
Everything.
what is this?
Yes.
And, over time, I realized, like, once you get a system and you really have some solid strategies that work, it can become a lot simpler. I won't say easy, but it can become a lot simpler for you. And once I realized that, I was like, okay, it's time to show other people how to do this because this is tough. This is tough. And me having all of those years of experience in business operations for multi seven figure $1 billion companies and then also running successful businesses of my own, it was just one of those things. I kept getting in spaces with coaches that were like,
Mhm.
they're struggling. They don't know how to make money. It's tough to put themselves out there. And I was like, you know what? Let me be that beacon of hope. Let me help them figure this out.
Mhm.
And then also just help them realize that there's so much more that they can accomplish with the money they make from their coaching business.
Mhm.
You can invest in other things. You can be multi-passionate, but be focused and
Yes.
multi-passionate.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people who are multi-passionate and are all over the place. Whereas you can be focused and multi-passionate and being very intentional with how you build wealth and all of the things that you want to create.
I love that.
Yeah.
But what's fascinating about you, it's like you are starting a business and you started a business about how to start that very business. And you walked your way through it by
Yeah.
carrying more and taking more people. I think this is
Yeah.
the most genius and just like service driven
Yeah.
way of doing it. I
Yeah.
salute you, Valencia,
Thank
really
you.
for doing
Thank
that
you.
because it's one way. One thing is to discover your own path, and another way
Yeah.
is to share each step what you learn through it,
Yeah.
and you share it with others. And that's so
Yeah.
generous to be able to do that.
Because I realized it was a level of freedom that people can accomplish sooner than later,
Mm,
right? Like could I have taught people how to invest in real estate?
mm,
Yes. But that required a lot of upfront capital.
mm.
Could I tell people how to invest in stock market? Yes.
Yeah.
But, they would have had to be ready to be willing to take on the risks that come with it. Yeah, and put out the money for it.
Mm,
Whereas coaching, I realized there was this beautiful balance that was created where it's like you take your skills, the things that you're already amazing at, something you've already accomplished, and go teach the world how to do it. And
mm.
all that requires of you is you.
Yes.
And yes, there may be some minimal investment you make into a coach or, if you have a website or whatever it is upfront. But outside of that, you start generating income pretty quickly to the point where you can start bringing that money into next level, like and into other ventures and other things.
Yes.
So that's what made me realize, like, okay, this is the future,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
people tapping into their natural expertise and selling it and helping others along the way. Because there's something that everyone can share with
Mm,
someone, to help them get to that next level. And once I realized that, I was like, okay, this is the path that I want to travel.
mm.
And coaches are the most beautiful spirited people that I have met. Like they are people who have been high achievers, who have accomplished
Yes.
things, and they're
Mm,
just ready to give and pour into others. And so
mm.
I'm like, these are my kind of people. I
I
love
love
high energy, like I love beautiful energy. And for me to to work with those people every day, it's amazing.
I love that. So, if
Yeah.
there are coaches listening to us today who are
Yeah.
like thinking to become coach or to change to have that as their own business, what advice would you give them to be able to reach that 10K consistently
Yeah.
or a certain level?
I think the simplest way I can put it is understanding the who, what, and how.
Mhm,
And it's who do you want to serve?
mhm,
What transformation are you going to help them with? So
mhm,
tap into something you've personally experienced, and that can be the transformation.
mhm,
And then how? How are you going to deliver that transformation? Most coaches start out with one-to-one coaching. Eventually, you can evolve into group coaching. You may decide to start a community. You have options on the how.
Yes.
And that's where a lot of people struggle, though. It's because that business model piece of the how,
Mhm.
it's sometimes it could be draining because some people don't love one-to-one. Some people don't love group. Some people don't
Mhm.
love community.
Yeah.
So it's really figuring out how you want to deliver that transformation. But really understanding that concept, that foundation is the
Mhm.
best starting point because from there, you can then start refining your messaging and figuring out how you want to attract your ideal clients,
Mhm.
how you want to start showing up online. And
Yes.
that's another piece of figuring out where do you want to show up online?
Mhm.
Choose one, start there, and grow from there.
Mhm.
I started on LinkedIn. I am on LinkedIn currently still. And, I am considering is YouTube next?
Yeah.
Is Instagram next?
Mhm.
So definitely 2026, I do want to expand my visibility
I love
onto
that.
a different platform. But I've been in this space for the last, I'm gonna say 3 years. I've been online, and
Okay.
so that whole 3 years, I have
So
been
your brand has
specifically
been
on
established.
LinkedIn. Yeah,
Because 3 years is the minimum to like, okay, now I'm good.
yeah,
I know my stuff. Okay,
yeah,
I'm comfortable. I can go somewhere else because I already have a house here.
yeah,
Let's go get another one.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
I love that. And it's good because a lot of people think that within a year you don't have the money, so it's not working. But it's
no,
not about that. It's like how consistent are you?
hmm,
How much resilience can you bring on your path?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's and that's the hard part, right? The hard part when you need to believe in the results even if you don't see them. What
Yeah, and
keeps you
that's
going? Tell me.
honestly, it is I just have a crazy drive about myself. Like
I love that.
for me, something could not be going. And my mindset is like, okay, just means I need to pivot. Maybe I need to make an adjustment. I just need to keep going and trying. For me, it's never anything that I can't do. And so
Mm,
even with that, it's like I'm going to continue to move forward. I'm going to continue to try and something's going to work, something's going to stick. And I
I love
always say God has never let me down and he won't let me down now.
never will. Exactly.
Never will. And so I just keep going. And that's the biggest thing is not being afraid.
I want to salute Danielle,
Oh,
who's
thank you,
sending me
Danielle.
a very beautiful spirit, Valencia. She really
Oh,
is. Thank you,
thank
Danielle.
you.
Thank you for being with us. Um,
Absolutely.
love that. So one of the blockage often when starting a business, it's really asking for money,
Yeah.
selling.
Yeah.
So can you tell us? I know you are also a financial coach and business coach.
Mhm.
What do you see the main blockage vis-a-vis that? Why do people still shy away from giving numbers and selling with numbers?
So there's a mixture of things, a combination of things I've noticed. One, I think it definitely has to do with a lot of people's upbringing, right? If they come from a space of poverty or their family didn't have a lot of money, the
Yes.
idea of asking for money sometimes can feel very weird or icky to them. Another thing I've noticed is unfortunately, there's a lot of advice online that everyone is saying you should charge your worth, charge more, charge more. You're not charging enough.
Mm,
And I think what happens is people, they get very, I don't know, it does something to their confidence
mm.
when they are trying to sell something because they're like, I just undervalued myself. They're
Yeah.
constantly second guessing their worth
Mm,
because of what they're consistently hearing.
mm.
And what I tell my clients, I call it my price resistance theory. I don't know. I just came up with something, right?
I love that. It
And
is price resistance
it's
theory. Yeah.
price resistance theory.
Yeah.
And so what I get my clients to do, because I do run into a lot of clients who are not comfortable to charge that top amount.
Mm,
And so I make them bring their lives into it. I'm like, okay, let's look at how much you need to pay yourself
mm,
every month
mm.
to be able to actually sustain.
Yes.
Because if you're charging $100 per client, like that's not sustainable for
It's
you.
not.
It's not going to be worth your time. You're going to be miserable. You're going to hate what it is that you're doing. So to help create a balance of joy and fulfillment in your business, you have to charge at least enough to cover your bare minimum.
Mm,
And so let's say if someone says, you know what, it's $4,000 a month I need to pay myself. I'm like, okay. So that means every month you need to at least be bringing in 6 to 8,000 if we're accounting for expenses. So let's say you only want to sign 2 clients a month.
mm,
That means your program needs to be $4,000.
mm,
How does that feel? And that's your minimum. And they're like, okay. I said, so feel confident about that minimum. I said,
mm,
but I'm not going to let you stay there. You're going to start at 4,000. You're going to sign 1, 2, 3 people, and then I'm going to make you increase your price.
mm. And how
And
does it
so
feel
me,
when you say that? They're like, can we do it? Yeah, because
yeah,
we've done it
but
once.
I think it's freeing to them too because they're like, okay, I feel good to charge that amount because I know like it makes no sense for me not to work.
Mm,
It doesn't make any sense for me to not charge appropriately. I need to be able to charge appropriately
mm.
to live. If not, it's pointless to run this business.
Exactly.
And I tell them too, there's a, and I want people to have this clear distinction is you are a coach, but you also operate a coaching business.
Mm.
So I tell my clients, I'm like, take off the coach hat and put on your CEO hat.
Uh-huh.
I need you to start thinking like a CEO.
Yes.
I need you to curate a business that is profitable.
Yes.
You cannot operate from a state of just being a coach. Because
Mm,
a coach, I know we lead with our hearts. We just want to help, but you have to move yourself out of that space and put yourself into a strategic decision maker for your business.
yeah.
And then you being that strategic decision maker, you're able to start saying, okay, I'm looking at my financials. I'm noticing I'm not making the type of money I need to be making. I need to increase the value. I need to increase my pricing. So it's really just making yourself aware of how to operate a functional and profitable business and start putting yourself in that position to do it
Mm.
and not
It's
just leaning on the coaching side, the hard side, but you got to focus on the logic side too of being a business owner.
I love the way you put it. It means that you carry several hats. So
Yeah.
when you get swamped into the I decide as a marketer, it's not your role.
Yeah.
Go up and take
Hmm.
a CEO role. And you're like,
Yep.
do I decide? I'm like, yeah, yes, I decide. I'm a CEO. You got to decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have
That's
to make the decisions. That's a part of business ownership that a lot of people don't think about or they don't consider because they're just like, I just want to help. I just want to do. But once you decide to become a full-time business owner, you have to elevate into that space of being the CEO, and making those decisions. And eventually, there's some people who decide they don't want to be the CEO. They may have someone come in and help with all of those strategic decisions. But in the beginning, that's where you start. That's where you start. You got to know how you want your business to grow and excel.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing this because we get often, you get caught up into, do I deserve to ask for this? Because there is a
Mhm.
confusion. Like it's not your role. Don't confuse them. Your role is just to sell. So sell.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't try to do, and then pick another the other hat to sell the other things. Because
Yeah.
as you start a business, you need to own every role of it.
Yeah. You do.
Yeah. And that's the hard one because you get them confused.
Yeah. You can get stuck. I call you become the engine of
Yeah.
your vehicle. Like think of a vehicle, like you become the engine. And if that engine isn't running, the business isn't running. And there's a point in time where you have to be like, I have to make someone else the engine. I have to make other people the engine. That's where contractors come in. And then
Mm.
you start slowly moving up in your own business. You're creating your own promotion trajectory where at
Mm.
some point you become the CEO who's now the visionary, the person who's telling everybody what to do and how to do it. And then eventually, like that's where that time freedom really comes in and that financial freedom and all of those things. And yes, you can accomplish that as while you're the engine,
Mhm.
but you never want to be in a place where everything is fully dependent on
On you.
you.
on
Yep.
you. Yeah. And I think that's what is burnout would come from. It's like when
Yeah.
you're like, I'm taking everything because don't want to share. And that's another
Yeah.
mistake that we make. It's like, okay, I'm just want to hold on to everything to myself. But if you
Yeah.
want to grow, you gotta give up a little bit of it and share
Yeah.
some of the nuggets and some of the money that comes in, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that. You creating your own promotion. This is brilliant. It is brilliant. It is brilliant because what's missing when you leave an institutional job,
Yep.
when you like thrive to have the promotion, is like you don't get that thrill. But if
Mhm.
you get to create it yourself to yourself, then you have it all,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You keep growing. And
Yeah.
that's the beautiful thing too, right? Like in organizations, you're fighting for the promotion. You're fighting for that next level. But as a business owner, you create your own promotions.
That's even
You're like,
better. Yeah.
I'm doing really good financially. I don't want to do content creation anymore. I'm just using it as an example, even though I
Yes.
love the content creation portion of my business.
We all
But some
do because
people,
it's your heart, right? Because
yeah,
that's how what connects you to people. No one
yeah,
can connect as well
yeah,
as you do from your own
yeah,
heart.
absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
But what you could do is you could hire someone who meets with you, let's say once a month or
Mhm,
twice a month, and you
mhm,
have a 60-minute call with them. And
mhm,
you give them, they come up with topics and ideas, and then you give them your knowledge, your experiences, and they can go and create your content for you.
mhm.
Right. So it's still a part of you. It's just something that you don't have to always do.
And
And then
today
you
you can
can,
do today you can use AI to do you that, isn't it? You like sit down with
very
AI
true.
2 seconds. You know what? I want to write all this roof,
Yeah.
and it's all down.
Yep.
This was like 3 years ago. We could have that conversation. Today is so different, isn't
Oh,
it?
it is. And that's one thing I'm leveraging a lot too is building these
Yes,
AI bots and agents and
absolutely. It makes
systems and
okay. What did
all
it
those
bring
things.
using this AI? Do you feel you going faster? You going? What did it bring to you?
I think what I do enjoy about it is it does help move things along faster.
Mm-hmm.
It does help. I've incorporated it for my clients where, even throughout my program, there's prompts and there's AI bots that they can use to help them get to decisions much faster. And of course, you still need a real human to come in and be like, but did you consider this? Did you really think of this? Because there's still that piece that AI does not have, which is fine. We're good with that for now, right? We
Yeah,
want to still need that human piece,
of
but
course.
it does. It helps my clients move much faster in the process.
Mm,
They're able to really get results quicker, right?
yeah.
And
Mm.
it's before it's like to sit down and tell someone, hey, you need to write a week worth of LinkedIn content.
Mm.
They're kind of like, huh?
No one has this
What?
2 hours to sit and do it. Although we used to do it. I remember
We
I
used
used to
to.
take
I
like
used to.
Sunday morning and I'm
Mhm.
gonna sit. It take me 2 hours so that I can get the content in. And I
Yeah.
enjoyed that time. I really truly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But you
And
don't
now
have to
it's
sit
it's
that long.
AI. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like you create I have a GPT that my clients can use and they just put in a topic and it drafts up their post for them and it looks amazing and it feels very natural and authentic. Doesn't feel like it's AI,
Mhm,
because it is about the prompting and the way that you structure it and create that.
mhm.
And yeah, from there they're able to take that and now have a week of content in 30 minutes.
So no excuses. You
No
already
excuse.
get your team, part of a team is already there.
Yep.
And it's time
Yep.
to level up. So
Yeah.
we'll invite everyone to promote themselves, to be
Yeah.
CEOs going forward.
Absolutely.
Like
I'm telling
CEOs.
people, I've been telling my team, I'm like, 2026 is my full CEO era. So be ready.
Absolutely. I'm loving this. Let's claim it all.
Yeah.
2026 is our female CEO era.
Yep.
Let's
That's
own it.
it.
Let's create wealth.
Mhm.
It's beautiful to be talking
Absolutely.
about it. And you have that green background in this, like it's
Oh yeah.
all the vibes.
I know. I
Okay.
didn't realize my brand like was gonna come into the green space and even my jacket is green. And
Really?
when I first came, well, when I
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
my LinkedIn profile, my
Uh-huh.
jacket is green.
Uh-huh.
And everyone just commented and loved that green jacket. And they were like, "Where did you get that jacket from?" And I did have my stylist, like, come up with all of my outfits for my brand photo shoot, and I
Uh-huh.
didn't think about it. I didn't think to be like, "Oh, we need green." She just gave that to me, and that became my
Your
brand
vibe.
photo.
I love
They
that.
came out nice.
It's beautiful. It is
Yeah.
beautiful. You're such a beautiful woman, and I love your good heart and
Mhm.
generosity and bringing everyone in those understanding, because it is the time for female CEOs to
Yes.
rise,
Yeah.
truly. And I think if we can, like, and this is why I'm doing this leadership series, because I love inviting incredible leaders like you to share their voice and also see that, we hold hands, and this is how we can create a ripple effect to
Yeah.
make more money.
Absolutely.
We want more money in the hands of women.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And there's nothing wrong with wanting more money. And
Mm,
I'll be honest with you, I struggled with that at some point because as a believer, as a very Christian-centered person, I'm like, I don't want to always be talking about money. But there is something I've learned is that God does want his children to experience
mm,
wealth and all the things that we can, but it's
mm,
really about where your heart is in the
mm,
process.
mm.
That's what matters most.
Yes,
If it's greed and evil and all of the negative things, then yes, you are chasing money for the wrong reasons. But if
mm,
it's for you to build a beautiful life, for you to give more, for you to support more,
mm.
then do it abundantly.
Good
Do it
abundance.
abundantly.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that. Thank you so much for sharing this. One last question
No,
that I ask
go
my
ahead.
guests is, what's your definition of leadership? How do you see leadership?
I look at leadership as really uplifting and helping people become the best version of themselves.
Mm,
Tapping into their potential, making sure that they know that they are worthy, that they are seen, that they can accomplish whatever it is that they want to accomplish. And
mm.
if my goal is to help people do that every single day, is I want to truly uplift and show people that they can have whatever life that they want and they can be the leader of that life.
I love that. This is so beautiful. Thank you so much. This has been such
Yeah,
a delight. Thank you for your beautiful vibes, for encouraging everyone to dream big and be the
yeah,
CEO. And let's go for this beautiful
let's
movement.
go.
2026 is our year.
Yep, we're being CEOs, y'all. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Thank you, everyone, for being with us tonight. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining me. Bye.
Bye, everyone.